Hey guys, welcome back. I would like to talk today about hair transplants and basically cosmetic surgery in general and shame. And so, what happened with me in my own story is that it took me 35 years to write this book. And the reason being was in order for me to put myself out there, I would have to be willing to let go of the shame that kind of holds me back. Because anytime you do something that you don't want other people to know about, and they find out, sometimes there's a sense of shame in that revelation. And so, most especially with cosmetic surgery, you'll rarely hear anybody talk about cosmetic surgery, and it also applies with hair transplants. Granted, you'll have a few people out there that will talk about it, but the majority of people, they would like to keep the whole thing secret. And see, the big problem with that is that it works to the advantage of the industry, the hair transplant industry and the cosmetic surgery industry. It all works pretty much the same way. I mean, you can look at all these people that come out of Hollywood with all this poor surgery. You never hear them talk about it. You know, in order for them to do that, to reveal what happened to them, it comes with a lot of shame. And if we go back in evolutionary history, if you were shamed, it meant sometimes you were kind of like removed from the tribe. It's like your survival. It's like a survival instinct. Once you start feeling shame, you start to feel it becomes a threat on a subconscious level. So it's the same with cosmetic surgery. Nobody really talks about it. So it took me that long to kind of get over it and just say, hey, this is what happened to me. It's not a big deal. And now it's about helping other people. And so if you look at a lot of these online platforms out there, it works exactly the same way. Most people don't really want to talk about it. And the ones that do, when they tell you about their horror experience with the hair transplant industry, they're removed. They're removed by the people that run these platforms because now they become a threat to the people that don't understand what's going on. Because these people that sign up for cosmetic surgery, they don't understand how this whole thing works. As far as when the procedure doesn't turn out to your expectations, that same shame that you feel, that you want to keep it secret, keeps you in a box. Now you're very limited in what you can do about it. And so this brings me to something current in the news. Once again, Joe Rogan, a hair transplant patient from the past that now shaves his head. So recently he had to come out on, he had some guests on Spotify. A lot of people weren't happy with who he had on there. Because these people were revealing truth that was going against the narrative that the mainstream platform wanted them to believe. And that becomes a threat to what they're trying to sell most of the people. Let me tell you something about that. I read a couple of books 2 years ago. I read a book by Dr. Judy Mikovits, and it was Plague of Corruption. Basically, she worked with this guy Fauci for over 20 years. So she knew him, and she knows the industry, and it was very revealing. But it's not just that book. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books, so I kind of get a feel of how things work. And recently I read this book. It's by Robert F. Kennedy. It's The Real Anthony Fauci. In fact, I read it twice. It's about 500 pages, very dense material, small type, and it's work to read it. But if you read this book, you walk away with a different view of what it is that you're seeing and what you're hearing from all these players in the system. And so what happened to Joe Rogan? Okay, we all know that he made comments in the past that they brought out. So what they're trying to do is now they're trying to shame him. Okay, and by shaming him, they'll try and suppress his voice. But so what he did was, he did exactly the opposite. He came out, he apologized, you know, he realizes that those things that he said in the past were wrong. And so he's grown as a person, and but more importantly, he got the upper hand on these people by coming out and apologizing, because they would use shame to suppress his voice. And his voice is necessary in these times, because you need to have these opposing views in order for you to get a full picture. Doesn't matter whether you agree with what's going on or not, or which side you take. You need all the information. So same with hair transplants. You need what I know and other people that have come forward. But the thing is, very few people have come forward because they feel that shame. They're not a Joe Rogan. There are very few people that will do what he does and that will do what I've done. In fact, I believe I'm the only person out there with a book that describes my experience over 35 years, 20 years online. And so it all works the same way. These people will remove you from the platform, or they'll try to have you removed so other people can't hear you. So when you see all these people online, it all works exactly the same way. You're going to get that, they're going to kind of keep you in a box of what they want you to believe. And so I had a couple of things here I wanted to talk about, and basically it comes down to the nature of the procedure itself. There's nothing wrong with getting a hair transplant if you understand the full picture of what's involved here and what the real limitations are. And many of these people that work in the industry, they've told lie after lie after lie for decades. I know that because I'm experienced with it. I've been involved in this for a very long time as a consumer, just trying to repair my own head. And it really all comes down to math. If you lose 50% of your hair, approximately you have 100,000 hairs on your head. If you lose 50,000 hairs, you're left with 50,000. It's basic math. You cannot never restore a full head of hair. So even if you were able to take half of that hair, which you can't, it would be too much, 25,000 hairs to put back where 50,000 were lost, that's 50% density. And if you see that in daylight, you have to, it's the reason why you need to see hair transplants in person, because it's a see-through hair. But it's not that it's just see-through hair, but these hairs are taken from the back, especially these few, the majority of doctors that don't really know what they're doing, or that can't give you the best effect with what you have. They're using darker, thicker hairs, thicker caliber hairs. So if you have a full head of hair here, of transplanted hair, that's 50% density, but the caliber of the hairs are thicker, it looks odd. You can tell it's a hair transplant. So that's the big giveaway. And the fact that even if you did have unlimited donor, surgically it's impossible to give you full density. I mean, if a doctor can get 50% density, that's probably great. But most can't. Most can get like 30% density. That's reality. And so, but basically what I'm trying to say is here is that this all works the same way. If you're a Joe Rogan fan, that's great. If you're not, you know, I would tell you consider observing more closely and maybe review some of the guests that he's had on in the recent past. And maybe you'll walk away with a different picture. And if not, that's fine. But it doesn't hurt for you to have that information. But what's happening to him is exactly what happens in the hair transplant industry. They don't want you to hear that other side of reality. They want you to just buy whatever it is that they're selling. So it applies to cosmetic surgery. So regardless of whether you're looking to sign up for a hair transplant or cosmetic surgery, it all works the same way. No one talks about it because of shame. And if you walk away damaged, you're going to be in a box. Most people end up in a box because they can't. If you can't talk about the procedure before you have it, what makes you think you're going to be able to talk about it after you've been damaged? You can't. It doesn't work that way. So that's my message for today. Basically, I recommend you to see transplants and hair transplants in person. Stay safe, and all these people that you see online, a good majority of them, they're marketers. They don't care about you. They'll turn on you in a heartbeat if you try to mess up their game. I know. I've been there. I'm banned from a lot of these online platforms because that's the way it works. Will Joe Rogan be banned from Spotify? I don't know. It's possible because this is how things work. I think eventually over time things will change. More people are kind of, you see a lot of independent journalists out there, and just people are stepping forward. They're tired of all this deception, and I think things are going to change. But until that time, all I can say is be careful. These people are they're out there to make a buck, and that's their deal. Okay, see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.